Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. First of all, I would like to say this is one of the only instances of me reshooting a video. I actually have a canned version. I did another version of this video. I canned it. We actually edited it and produced it, and I don't like it. I don't think it conveyed what I wanted to convey. So we scrapped that. I don't do that. I just like that noted. For anybody that wants to know how these videos work, I shoot these extemporaneously. I just make these videos, and then my producer, he puts them all together and edits them, and you see the end product. But point I'm trying to make, the content itself is extemporaneous. And I had done one and I watched it and I just didn't love it. Sometimes I'll do that and I'll see one, I'll be like, I could have done that better, but I have a real job, okay? So I gotta get on with it. At the end of the day, the point I'm trying to make is I wanted to make this video as maybe a message, and then I'm gonna get back to my job, frankly, to the Prime Minister. And Madam, I would just like to say the thumbnail is actually from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And the reason I bring it up, I like the thumbnail. I just love the catch of that, it's Dumbledore standing alone. And there's a scene, in that scene, he says, understand that if you undertake this, the Goblet of Fire challenge, the Tournament of Champions, he says, you stand alone. And that's worth noting. And the reason I bring this up, and where does this too shall pass come from? Well, there's a parallel here to my life, if you will. And there was the dean of our law school, well, we called him Dean Kincannon. He actually taught me civil procedure and conflict of laws. I didn't take Civ Pro 2 with him, but I did take conflicts and Civ Pro. I probably did some other procedural stuff with him, but those two I remember vividly. In any event, he had been there for years. And civil procedure in your first year of law school is one of the most daunting courses. It's actually usually one of the courses that people wash out on, frankly. It's a pretty tough class. I'm a procedural guy. That's just how I think. And so it never bothered me quite as much. But going into that course, he always, and apparently this was kind of something he said a lot, he would say, this too shall pass. The point I'm trying to make here is I think there's parallels, and I just thought of thinking, I saw an article the other day that you, Madam Prime Minister, getting to the point here, are about to face this no confidence vote. And I think it's worth noting, one, this too shall pass. That was very reassuring to me at the time, and maybe if I can pass along a little bit of reassurance to you at this time, I would hope I can do that. That said, something else that I think is even more worth your attention, ma'am. It's what Dumbledore said. You stand alone. As I said in a prior video, at a certain point you'll have to govern all of us. And I think that you've shown you have that ability. And I'm confident you're actually going to make it through this no confidence thing. But I've been through my own trials and tribulations in the past, and I have had to stand alone myself under certain circumstances. It's not fun. I don't envy you in that part of it. But there's a book my mother gave me when I was young called Taipan that I read. It was by James Clavell. I read the whole series. There's a line in there where it says, the blessing and the curse of being the Taipan is being alone. And if you've ever been in one of these situations, that I would doubt from your background that you probably have, frankly. This may be the first time this ever happened for you. I don't know. I don't know you, but I would guess. Standing alone is not the most pleasant thing in its own way, but I would tell you, or I would say, savor it. Because, maybe not savor it, but at least appreciate it during the time that you're doing it for what it is. Because it's a moment that will be unparalleled with many of the rest of the moments in your life. So, I won't say enjoy it, but just respect it for what it is. Sort of look at your surroundings in the moment. The other thing is I think, presuming this comes off, that you get through the no confidence motion, I think that'll probably happen. It's not going to be particularly pleasant. Talk about an example of the process is the punishment, but here we go. Not going to be the most fun thing, but they made it clear you're standing alone, so fine. They're voting on you. if you make it through this, and I think you ultimately will, this too shall pass, but once you're through it, it's about this is your term then. This is sort of your parliament at that point. And I am very optimistic that I think you will make the right calls ultimately. I was listening to the other day Douglas McGregor talking about President Trump. And McGregor said, Colonel Douglas McGregor, he was in the First Gulf War, very decorated guy, very smart guy. I listened to him a lot. And he said, look, sometimes Trump makes bad decisions based on bad data. But when he's given the right data, he makes the right decisions. And I think ultimately that's pretty well borne out. I don't agree with every little thing Trump's done. Don't agree with every little thing you've done, by the way. But that said, I ultimately think, I've sort of been observing, when presented with the right data, I think you make the right calls. So I'm optimistic and I'm hopeful, and I've said it before, I believe in this coalition, I believe in you. And I'm looking forward to you just sort of going through this no confidence vote, and we get Thailand moving on down the road. You know, Parliament starts moving on down the road. We get Thailand past all this COVID nonsense, and we get back to rebuilding the country and getting ourselves back to the level of wealth and prosperity we should be at. So I look forward to watching that, ma'am. If I may say just one little thing though, maybe less WEF stuff. Maybe less WEF stuff, okay? World Economic Forum, I get it. Miss Gabbard, Tulsi Gabbard, our new DNI, she's sort of the queen of spies in America now. She went to a WEF meeting. I saw where there was some ambush journalist, which I really don't like that, but some ambush journalist got her, and they were like, didn't you go to the World Economic Forum? And she was like, yeah, I went once. I didn't exactly know what it was, but I went. You know, I'm not going to say I didn't. And same with you, okay? I'm not going to say that you knew everything about the World Economic Forum. Believe me, the first time I ever heard of them, I thought they were some kind of magazine they wanted me to subscribe to, like US News and World Report or something. Okay, so it sounds very banal, very innocuous. Once you dig into it and find out, oh my gosh, these people have nothing they want to do any good for anybody on. So that would be my only thing. Just a lot less of that, but I'm very hopeful, ma'am. I'm very, very hopeful, and I look forward to watching the rest of this parliamentary term play out.